Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Right Take, Gen Z Politics. So today I'm your host, Anthony, and we're just going to get straight into this. So as of January 8th, 2026, a lot of stuff has just happened. A couple days ago, we just sacked the leader of Venezuela, Maduro. He is currently in New York City awaiting trial as he was indicted on drug charges back in 2020. We'll get more into that in a little bit. We're also just going to talk about the general state of national security. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about Greenland. We're definitely going to talk about ICE because I know that's a big thing in the news right now, and it has been this whole administration, to be fair. So while we're on the topic of ICE, let's just get straight into that. So about, 2 days ago, was it? A girl just got killed at a protest in Minneapolis who was in her car, and she got shot by one of the ICE officers with this, according to the story, and she died immediately. There's been a lot of outrage about that we've seen, and my comment on that is she was trying to run over the ICE officer. I do understand how you could say that it did look like she was trying to get away, and maybe she was, but the point is, if you watch the video, even if she wasn't attempting to run him over, that lady was still going to run over the officer. The officer was right here, and the car was right here. And all the officer heard and saw was the car going forward. The car just went straight to him. So when somebody's trying to attack a cop, or at least allegedly try to attack a cop, or, an ICE agent, they're gonna fight back. So that's exactly what this ICE agent did. He fought back. This girl was coming at him with a giant SUV, accelerating. So what's your response going to be to that? It's going to be to stop the threat. And that's all he did. You could see by the bullet hole through the windshield, and you could see by multiple angles of video that he was right in front of the car. Mainly, most importantly, right in front of the tire. So if he just got ran over, he would have been crushed by the tire and die. Or seriously injured, but either way. But we see a lot of outrage about that, especially we see Tim Walz saying stuff. We see the Democratic leaders saying stuff. Schumer, Zoran, Mondomny. It's really bad. And they're siding with this lady who was stalking the ICE agents, by the way. This liberal ICE protester who I heard, at least, don't quote me on this, was leading that protest, or was one of the leaders in that protest. Don't quote me on that, I just heard it from somewhere, so I'm just stating that as just a general thing that I've heard. I will maybe fact check that after stream. But that is just a horrible thing to do, to defend this lady. Yes, it is sad that she died. Prayers to her family, seriously, prayers to anybody who is affected by her death. But she wasn't in the right there. She was in the wrong. Whether she was trying to hit that officer or not. And that's what people have to realize. Instead of hating on these people for doing their job, they were literally hired by the government to do this. They're supporting this woman who, at least potentially, tried to murder them. Rather than the ICE agent who had to try to save his own life. And I just think that's a really sad, motion of how the Democratic Party in America is going. People talk about uniting each other. People talk about, there's too much fighting between the parties. We're all Americans. We should all unite. We should all unite. Then act like it. Act like it, because what are you doing? They're looking for war. They're looking for fights. Somebody's going to get killed. Somebody's going to get shot. Whether it's another ICE agent or whether it's a candidate, a Donald J. Trump, God forbid. People are just getting angrier and angrier, and nobody is doing anything on either side to stop this. We're just hating on each other and hating on each other. The Americans have to pick one side. We cannot keep going this way. We have to pick one side. Or it's just going to be chaos. And it already is. It's been... I have a Freedom shirt on for Charlie Kirk. Great example, literally a couple months ago. I can't believe it's already been almost 4 months now? 3 months, 4 months since Charlie Kirk died, September 10th. That is an example of what this kind of hatred and violence and two-sidedness leads to. Charlie Kirk getting a bullet hole right through here because he was voicing his opinion that some other people just didn't agree with. And it's so sad to see that's how American society is turning out. But before I start like screaming at this monitor, let's get into Venezuela. So once again, forgive me, I do forget the exact date on it. It was 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago. The Delta Force swooped into Venezuela and captured Maduro without a fight. We lost 0 people. 0 people were killed. 0 of our soldiers were killed. 2 were injured, but none were killed. 0. And we did it in 2.5 hours, which is just insane. Now, I know people were talking about war with Venezuela for a long time and stuff, and I honestly thought, yeah, we might have war with Venezuela at some point. But I did not think it would take 2.5 hours. That is just, whether you agree with it or not, that's impressive. Capture the leader of an entire country in 2.5 hours? I mean, that was just beautiful. But now you see, Maduro, once again, as I said earlier, has been indicted for drug trafficking in the courts of New York City. Because he has been smuggling in all this fentanyl, all these drugs into our country. That's the thing with the drug boats as they've been blowing up in the Caribbean. Now, this guy, he cheated 2 elections, okay? He won the first time by percentage, by single-digit percentage points. And then after that, he's rigged every single election, especially the most recent one in 2024. That one was extremely rigged. Almost all countries other than Venezuela's allies agree that that was rigged. It's said that the opposition candidate got about 63% of the vote in reality, but obviously the actual election results that they turned over are not even close to that. He is a dictator. There's no else way to say that. He's a successor of Chavez, a communist dictator of Venezuela. And he just followed in his path. He stole a bunch of oil from America that we bought into, that we invested into. He gave us none of it. He took all our money, basically. That was when a lot of our relations started to crumble a little bit. And then obviously we know it's been escalating with the drug boats getting blown up. And then we seized one of their oil tankers. And then it all led up to this. But it was just beautiful how after all this time, after all this conflict, $25 million bounty on Maduro's head, by the way, by the Democrats. By the Democrats. And we got him in 2.5 hours without losing a single soldier. That just shows the American might, the true strength that we have as a nation, the true power that we can project. Now, a lot of people are saying the Democrat argument is, I don't know why they aren't celebrating this, but okay, let's just go to the Democrat side. They said that it's illegal, it's against international law, and we shouldn't just went in and kidnapped the president of their country. Well, the truth to that is, it may have been against international law, but there's no better way to say it than let's say all countries at some points do not follow international law. International law is not enforced. It's just written on a piece of paper. And to be fair, most of the time, unless for certain political reasons, nobody follows international law. So okay, it might have been against international law, but we are no different than any other country, all 195 other countries on this globe that have violated international law. And I think the worth of it to capture this dictator, this socialist dictator who stole our oil, I think it's a little bit worth it to break it a little bit, to smudge that law a little bit, to capture this indicted criminal dictator. And you see the Venezuelan people, there's celebrations all over. Of course, he does have supporters, but not as much. Once again, 63% of people voted against him. So at least 63% of the country is cheering this on right now. While we have American Democrats in America, not in Venezuela, where, oh my gosh, he kidnapped the president, he's a dictator. Another thing is, I just want to add this in. They did all these no kings protests about no dictators. They call Trump a dictator. But then they defend Maduro, who is by far, arguably, factually a dictator. an actual dictator. And some of them are genuinely defending them. Some people may just be against how he did it, but there are a lot of Democrats who are actually in support of Maduro, which is really sad to see, especially since, once again, these No Kings protests. But as we know, this is just another example of American power. We have the Monroe Doctrine. This is our hemisphere. The Western Hemisphere is our hemisphere. James Monroe said this himself. This is our doctrine. This is our side of the world. And people don't remember this, but I actually learned this recently, but I already did know this, to be fair. The Roosevelt Corollary, forgive me if I did not say that right, but that was actually instituted by President Theodore Roosevelt, which basically gives us police powers to intervene in any country in the Western Hemisphere that poses a threat to our ideals and our national security. This was defined by Theodore Roosevelt, who was basically a socialist of his time, by the way. So, Democrats, this is your guy. He was the one who gave us the power to do what we did in Venezuela, or at least gave us the approval, it's fine, basically, to do it in Venezuela. Anything in our hemisphere, we have a right to intervene in. And that is exactly what we did in Venezuela. They were going far against our interests. They were allied with Palestine, with Russia, with Iran. They're socialist. They're almost communist. They aren't really communist, or at least they weren't really communist. Now they're hopefully going to be a democracy. But they were there. They were like head in there. They were definitely head in there. So that is in protection of our national interests. And I believe there was nothing wrong with what we did. If anything, we should have done it sooner. If anything, we should have done it when this first happened, so people did not have to suffer for this long. The Venezuelans, the Americans, all the drugs coming in. I think we should have done this way sooner. I think, if anything, this was way too late. But, I mean, it's better than nothing. I'm glad that it happened. Another thing, while we are in the Western Hemisphere, let's go up to Greenland. So, as we know, at the start of the Trump term, there was a lot of talk about acquiring Greenland, and then it just disappeared. And I still wonder what happened to that. It was so much talk. Donald Trump Jr. and I believe it was Elon Musk went to Greenland themselves to discuss the acquisition. But it just disappeared. But somehow, for some reason, Trump has brought it back now, which, once again, I'm fine with. I wish it kept going from the start. But Greenland is obviously up north. It is to the east of Canada, and it is a very strategic area right in the Arctic Circle. Now, the Arctic Circle is partially controlled by Russia due to Siberia, and Greenland is an important part. It has bases for us, and once again, Arctic Circle. That is a major region for Russia, and is a major region that we want to control. Now, Trump did try to acquire it back in 2019, and Denmark straight up denied it, and that seems to be what they're doing again. But Denmark, I have a lot of opinions about this, but all in all, Denmark does not have the military strength and the political importance to hold on to Greenland. America needs Greenland. We had it during World War II. We took it from Denmark during World War II. And Denmark just can't maintain it to this day. They can't maintain Greenland the way that we would be able to maintain Greenland. They're letting Russian and Chinese citizens and businesses establish different places on Greenland. They're letting it getting taken over by Russia and China. Denmark is not fit to hold Greenland. And that is just a fact. That is just the hard truth. Denmark, they had a great empire in the past. They owned Iceland, they owned the Faroe Islands, Greenland, all that good stuff. But I think their time has come. I think their time is to hand Greenland over to America so we can use it to stop Russia and stop China and stop all these countries, these bad countries, North Korea, Iran, from getting the strategic point that would be detrimental if we lost it. Greenland is in our hemisphere, once again, so we have the right We have the right to intervene into it. And I believe, hey, manifest destiny. Come on now. Manifest destiny. A lot of people say this is American imperialism. Oh, imperialism is bad. This is power projection. Oh my gosh, America's a dictator. Trump's a dictator. No. We are securing our interest. We are securing NATO's interest in the long run. But we are securing our interests. If we want to protect ourselves from foreign enemies, from foreign threats, from foreign countries, this is just what we need to do. We need to get these important places. We need to stop these terrible regimes. Venezuela. We also got to talk about Cuba, Mexico, and Colombia. Those are other ones. Those regimes, it's just not going great in those countries. We could talk about that, but let's stick with Greenland for now. Greenland, we've always wanted Greenland. Truman tried to get Greenland. Once again, we owned it partially, temporarily during World War II. Trump tried to get Greenland in his first term. We're trying to get it again. And Denmark just doesn't want to hand it over. They do not need Greenland. They need to focus on their homeland with all their migrants coming in. But that's a whole nother thing once again. But they do need to focus on that. They need to focus on Copenhagen. They need to focus on their mainland, not Greenland, especially since they're selling it out to China and Russia. Our ally in NATO is selling out Greenland to China and Russia. And we can't just sit there and let that happen. Because you know what will happen? Can you guess? Can you take a guess? Let me put this to the mic. Can you take a guess? Greenland is going to be Chinese and Russian territory. De facto. Because that's just what's going to happen. And we're going to lose control over a vital position in the Arctic Sea, which we cannot let Russia and its allies get naval dominance in. And that is very important. That will threaten trade routes, that will threaten Canada, that will threaten our north border. And that's just the truth. What Trump is doing is securing our national interests, which is what we should have been doing this whole time. But I do think that is enough about Greenland. I think we should talk about ICE in America and other issues in America, just immigration in general and the drug traffic trade. What is going on with drug trafficking in America? You go to a city, you go to any city, you're going to see people, what they call fent folding, just like, oh. I mean, it's just the truth. These people are overdosing in the streets, basically, for lack of better examples. They're overdosing in the streets. They're eating the dogs, or eating the cat. No, but they are overdosing in the streets. These people, they're popping pills, they're sticking the needles on the bridges, and go to Los Angeles, go to New York, go to Chicago. And I bet you, in a lot of places, that's all you're going to see. I went to Philadelphia a couple weeks back. There were a lot of people who you could tell were high on drugs. Everywhere you look, Center City, Philadelphia, everywhere you look. And these are becoming drug cities. That's just how it's going. And you know where these drugs are coming from? You know where at least a lot of these drugs are coming from? South. They're coming from Colombia. They're coming from Mexico. They're coming from Venezuela, or at least they were. They are coming from down south. In the Western Hemisphere, but they're coming from down south. And they're being imported, obviously illegally, into America. And what did Biden do about this? What did any of the past administrations do about this? The truth is, not much. And if they did, then it surely wouldn't be a problem now. But it is, so clearly they did not do enough. And that is what Trump is doing. That is why they're blowing up the drug boats. They are getting this fent, this heroin, this cocaine out of America. Or at least they are trying to. That is their goal. And people complain. Oh, human rights. Oh, illegal immigrants are people too. Well, obviously they're people. But they're also criminals too. These ones that are bringing in these drugs. These ones that are illegally crossing the border. They're criminals. And that's just a fact. And who wants criminals in your country? You shouldn't. I don't. I'm sure a lot of people don't. I know a lot of people don't. That's why Trump won in 2024. That's why millions of people support him and support ICE and support their border wall. That's why people supported it in his first term. These drugs that are coming into America are killing our society. Literally. Literally. Both figuratively and literally killing our society. And when's it going to get better if we don't do anything about it? Tell me, when's it going to get better? If there's any Democrats watching, when? What are you going to do about this? What do you want to be done about this? There's only one thing that can be done about this, to stop it at its source. Not when it gets here. Sometimes not even on the way. Once again, drug boats, things are great, but that only helps with 1 drug boat, 2 drug boats, 3 drug boats with all these drugs in it. You got to get at the source. Colombia, Mexico, Venezuela, at the source. And that is what we're doing, starting off with Venezuela. At the source. I cannot repeat that enough. That is the issue with many things in life. You gotta tackle it at the source. At the foundation. Not at the walls, not at the roof. Foundation. That's where the house holds at. You take away the foundation, the house collapses. You take away the foundation of the drug trade collapses. With our occupation of Venezuela, Trump's gonna run the country, as he said. That is exactly what we're gonna do. Now, I can't say that for sure, but I mean, I think it's pretty likely that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna get rid of this drug trade. We're gonna replace the corrupt administration. Get a democracy in there. Good old democracy, good old American democracy. And we're going to stop this evil, evil drug trade and these drug wars that are going on. But public opinion, once again, I don't know how. Public opinion, a lot of people are against this. Some even Republicans. I don't agree with non-interventionalism. I'm not for that. I know some people may disagree with that. I'm an interventionalist. We should intervene in countries that are against our interests. And once again, Iran, Venezuela, Cuba. Intervene. We can't let them just hate on us and do things to destroy us. Work to destroy us. We can't just let them, I don't want to deal with it. They're another country. Who cares? I care. The future of our country cares. Do you want to last past 250 years, or do you want this to be our last year? You tell me. You can stay non-interventionalist, and just when Iran's just walking through your house, just say, hey, I'm not going to intervene because I don't really care. You're from a different country, so I don't care. Just walk through my house. Go to the capital. I don't care. I don't live in the capital, so why does it affect me? Are you stupid? Are you stupid? You are going to get us all killed. Whether you're a non-interventionist Republican or you're a Democrat, you're going to get us killed. You can disagree on almost everything else. But if you're going to agree on one thing, agree that America is a priority. That we need to stop this drug trade. And we need to stop people from other countries from infiltrating our own country. Or else, are we even a country anymore? Are we even a country? Are we the United States of America? Are we just the land of America? What are we going to do? If you don't support these views, what do you think is going to happen? You think the whole world's just going to forget about us? We're all going to be best friends? All just live happily ever after? Russia's going to be like, hey, America, you know what? You guys are pretty chill. China's going to be like, yeah, I think you're chill too. No! N-O. That might be backwards on the camera, but N-O. Okay? No. That won't work. It never would work. It never will work. It never has worked. It's so sad to see the things that are happening to our country. When I was born, even when I was born, it was still going on this downfall. And that's just the hard truth of it. But it's getting worse and worse, especially since COVID. COVID radicalized a lot of people, but COVID liberalized a lot of people at the same time. And it's destroyed our society because a lot of people got radicalized to the left. And a lot of people have got radicalized, guess what? To the right. So instead of everybody being here on average separation, we're here. Or maybe we're here. Or at this point, I don't even know. We might be here. You can't even see my other finger. We might be here. And it's united. Okay, let's just say this. United States of America. How can we be united if I'm here and you're here? That doesn't seem very united to me. You know what united is? Here. Or here. Unite. We need to come up with issues that we can all agree on. Or else we're never going to agree on anything. Either it has to be all of us or none of us. And that's just the hard truth. I mean, our national security is... It's going down the toilet. It's going down the toilet. It's going down the Mariana Trench right now. Other countries, they're laughing at us. They're laughing at the Democrats. They're laughing at the liberals who are stopping everything Trump tries to do. They're laughing at him. They're laughing at all of us. Because we aren't letting Trump do his job. We aren't keeping our national security safe. Russia is looking at us like, what a loser. And sadly, they're not wrong. I mean, what if we right now, we're kind of losers right now. Half of our country hates our guts, hates my guts, hates everybody's guts who agrees with me. And the other half won't do anything about it. The other half, my half, they won't do anything about it. What are we going to do when somebody takes over, there's a riot on a government in a state, and God forbid the state secedes independence, we got like a second civil war, everybody's talking about it, who knows if it's going to happen, based on how America's going, sadly, I think it might, but we don't want that to happen, and that shouldn't happen, because no matter which side wins, if that did happen, we're going to kill millions of innocent Americans. And we'll never recover as a nation. We'll never recover. People on my side, Republicans and independents who have similar viewpoints to me, we need to get out there. And we need to show the world and most importantly, the other side of America, that we are right. I run a Facebook group with 23,000 members, okay? We're about 23,500 now. We gained like 500 members today, which is awesome. 23,000 people that I can talk to, 23,000 Republicans that we can organize with. And we're just sitting here doing nothing, and that's the sad thing. That is the really, really sad thing that is going on right now. We need to get out. We need to protect our country, protect our nation, protect our security. Okay? There's a hole in the Pentagon. The Pentagon is being breached. Our security is being breached. And we need to fix that hole. We need to add back the fifth side to the Pentagon. Fix that hole in our security. And we have so much opposition, we can't do it. We can't do anything. How are we going to do anything if we have half the country or more, sadly or more, against us? What is going to go on in our society if our lives are just fighting between the Democrats and the Republicans, the socialists, the Democratic Socialists and the capitalists? We are going to make no progress, and we're going to look like fools to the entire world. Like, sadly, we already are. And it is time to stop it. It is time to change. And it is time to stand up for our values, for our morals. Listen, it's been a great episode. I think I'm going to end it here for tonight. I want to thank everybody for watching. And please, listen to my plea. Get out there. Help unite America peacefully. A lot of these people might just be far gone, sadly. A lot of these Democrats, their opinions, it might take tens of years for their opinions to change, if they do at all. And those people, They're just sadly pretty much far gone. But there's a lot of people in our society, Democrats, left-leaning people, some even maybe moderate or closer to far, that still can have their opinions changed, especially if they're younger. Their opinions still can change over time. And that is what we need to happen. That's what we need to help them peacefully, guide them to make this happen. Or else America's done. 250 is our last year. 250 is our last. That's it. We need to get up and get out. Get up and get out. Walk out your door. Go to a neighbor's house. Go to a friend's house. Bring them with you. And turn America back to its true values that it once had. Or else we're done. I want to thank everybody for watching this episode of The Right Take, Gen Z Politics. Coming from a Gen Z person, it's hard to see my generation sometimes. We are getting better. But there's still a lot of us who sadly do not see the way, do not see the right path. The right path. But I know we can do this. So let's end this off great. And hopefully by the next time we do a podcast episode, there'll be something major. And maybe we can fix this. Thank you all and have a wonderful night.